I go to get a meal or whatever, I stuff the receipt in there. It's right there in front of my head when I drive in. I pop it in there, and at the end of the year, I lay them all out, and I make sense out of it. And you would be amazed.
One other thing that our accountant has told us time and time again on hobbies type stuff, don't run it in the red.
Right.
Don't, even
Make
if
sure
you
you're-
can
make sure
run
you're
it
making
to,
a profit, just not a.
because that's a huge red flag for the IRS.
Right.
How many 1099 did you get this year?
Quite a few.
That's the one rule, you get 1099s,
Declare.
you gotta.
Make sure you're claiming that. I mean,
you
make sure
gotta claim
your
that.
revenue
They can
is
track those.
exceeds your 1099 income. I mean, you want it to exceed your 1099 income. It doesn't have to exceed it a lot, but it needs to exceed it, so you got that, all that income in there.
Get a check, you better claim it, because the government knows about it somewhere.
One other thing, so one of the changes, if you read the officials handbook this year, is it's now your responsibility to provide any information to the schools that they need to process, like W-9s. So, like the OHSAA is putting the onus on the officials, which sucks, because Springfield took 4 months last year to pay me because of that, but it is what it is. So consider printing off some blank W-9s and having them ready to mail, if that's the case.
Most places will provide their paperwork for you at the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most places. Some places just have a voucher because they've got all your information. They know your birth date, they know your social security number. If they print a voucher out, there's two different ways to print it. One without a social security number on it. It's got only the last four, and then they got another one because when they go to the treasurer, it has to have your social security number on it. So they can print two vouchers just to tell you what's going on in the background. If you see a voucher with a full social security number on it, drop me an email. Because me and the athletic secretary or the AD are going to have a nice little conversation about personal security and how they open themselves up to the liability lawsuit. So they need to not have that. So if they're doing an arbiter voucher, you ought to see just the last four digits of social. So some kid in a baseball uniform walking by, snaps his cell phone out, takes a picture of it. They can run your bill up pretty quick. They can create credit cards in your name so fast. So we don't want that out there. We've explained that to them. But you know how they get sometimes. If you see it, just drop me an email. Don't confront them. If you feel like scratching out your social security number before the last four digits, feel free. You have to leave the last four digits though. All right? But do not make a big fuss about it. Don't fight with them. Just simply call me, and then I'll take care of it with the athletic director. Yes, Bill?
I saw that we're getting electronic contracts this year, so that means we're not going to have contracts at the game?
You may not have contracts at the game.
Okay.
If they ask you to fill one out, fill one out.
Okay.
I have no idea what the ADs are doing. They don't know what they're doing at this point because they're just getting into the arbiter. They're a hot mess. So,
I will say that most of the volleyball and basketball games that I've done, they have had contracts that are just to sign.
are they arbiter vouchers?
Yeah, they're the arbiter.
Right,
okay.
With the
Right.
2 or 3
I've seen
names on
for
it
years.
just to sign.
So basically, when you're clicking the arbiter to accept, that contract is there saying you're agreeing to this contract. That's what that's doing. All right, and then, you know, the arbiter voucher is just a proof that you did the game and it was you doing it. If you have a family member working, we've had this in the past. The quickest way to get on my list of people I don't want to work is if you send your family member in your place. If there's an ejection and it says you did it and you weren't there, all of us are going down. All of us, that includes me. I'm going to Columbus with you, and that will not be a fun meeting. All right? If you're supposed to do a game, you do the game. If you can't work, you call us. Don't send your own replacement unless it's absolutely last minute emergency. You get a crash on the way to the game and you know Joe Smo's available and you call him, but you better let us know what's going on so we can make the change. But do not, we've had father-sons, brothers that have just, we find out later that the son did the game and it was assigned to the dad. That can't happen. Legally, it can't happen. That exposes us terribly. All right? Do you have anything else?
No, we'll have the fees. I'm going to be working with Chris on, although Darren, Sam, and I are separate identities from the association, this is where we hang out. And West Central has offered to put the fees for all the schools that we work for on their website. Okay? So, basically, We got
Click under
raises.
members.
We got
Fee
raises
structure.
across the board. Okay? GWAP, CBC, I'm sorry, CBC's up to 60 for, everything varsity is 60 and 55, or I'm sorry,
60,
60.
60.
Say what I was trying to say.
60, 60.
60,
varsity,
60 for
JV.
JV and varsity. Okay?
Freshman,
Freshmen will
55.
probably be 55
Straight
across the board. Because they're trying to keep some uniform, so we don't get so many calls. And now, I know that doesn't say it in the arbiter yet. We don't have some of that transition to some of the schools. But for the most part, you'll see 60 and 60. I'm not sure what freshman is. Junior high, I can't remember. But junior high will be coordinated across the board, whether you're working at Newton or you're working at Vandalia. It's gonna be the same pricing everywhere, okay?
So
That makes it easier for everybody.
So you'll go to members, and then you'll see this menu across the top, and it's under fee structure. It'll be here. One of the things that really has helped us over the years, so that we all know what the ground rules are, before a school picks us up or a program picks us up, I direct them to this webpage and go, this is our game day philosophy chart. This is what we do. And if you don't like it, then we won't provide umpires for you. So we don't win everything, but things like, games delayed more than 30 minutes after the start time and then play, we get a full game fee, right? First game of the doubleheader gets rained out during the game and not resumed. We get one game fee. We don't get the second game fee if we don't start the second game or wait for it. First game completed, second game not started, one game fee. First game completed and the second game canceled after it started, full doubleheader fee. Generally speaking, if we start a game, we're getting paid for a game. So we win some, we lose some. It's not perfect. We don't get our way all the time, but this is basically the ground rule. So I always tell people it's not a bad idea to print this off, stick it in your umpiring bag, in your trunk. If there's an argument, especially in the summer, the schools are pretty good about it.
Right.
In the summer, arguing over what your pay should be, you whip it out and go, this is the policy you agreed to. And this is what you're paying. Here's the policy. It does help. All right? Eliminates
If it
problems.
comes down to being an abrasive conversation,
Then walk away.
okay, just do what you gotta do to get the job done that day. Call me and Darren or Sam, we'll get you paid, always do, almost, there's very few times when there's a gray area that we can't. But 99.9%, 0.999%, you get paid by that structure. One thing I wanna touch on is show-up fees. Okay? Phil Sheridan lives in Pleasant Hill. If he goes to Pleasant Hill, or if he goes to a Newton game and shows up and it starts pouring down rain and the game doesn't start, I would hope Phil wouldn't take a show-up fee, because he's 2 minutes away from his dang house. Okay? That's building relationships and just the right thing to do. If you're at Tip City and John Fowler goes down to do a select game for me, and his house is 2 minutes away, and then all of a sudden it just starts thunder and lightning, the game doesn't get in, and they don't make you stay around for a long time to wait, so, hey, don't worry about the show-up fee. Now, if you drove somewheres, my philosophy is, if you've driven out of your own hometown and you're there or you're almost there and they call you and cancel, that's when you get a show-up fee. Does everybody understand that?
Here's the other thing. They're supposed to call you because they have access to the arbiter. But the reality of it is, if you see it's 50-50 showers all day long and you don't know, pick the phone up, find out who the athletic director is,
Right.
pick the phone up before you leave, make a quick telephone call. Ask them, are you playing right now? Are you on? Because I'm leaving. That simple communication, basically they know when you're leaving, they're going to pay you a show-up fee. That make
One
sense?
thing we communicate to them is that no matter if Phil does live in Pleasant Hill and he is doing a game at Newton and he goes there, And if it wants to be an asshole and hurt us all, go ahead and take that shot, me, Phil. You know what I mean?
Nice job, Phil.
Yeah, he's allowed it. Careful.
I will say the other thing is, we had this policy that if you didn't start the game, you just got paid a show fee, and then we had one coach who decided to try to sit for 2.5 hours and wait for a mid-window to play. So we had to make a rule. We used to call it by his name, but he got all offended by it, so I'm not going to use his name. Now, but I think we had to make sure we got what was dues to us. We made sure that we have 30 block increments. All right. So if you get there, you're there 30 minutes. It gets to game time. We're raining. The first 30 minutes is on them. Afterwards, they're going to owe you a show-up fee, minimum. And then at that point, we start tacking on, and you can see it in the policies. They know it walking in the door. So if they're going to sit there and make you wait an hour and a half, after about 2 hours, it's pretty much a full game fee. All right? So we eliminate this happy horse crap of them just stringing you on. You run into this when teams bring a team in from, let's say, Cincinnati, playing Moeller, or playing Defiance, or playing, I don't know, Dublin Kaufman or some of those. Because that's what happens on the weekend. Some of our teams bring them in, and when they bring them in a long way, they want to play. I get that. But at the same time, we're not going to sit here for 3 hours waiting for a 45-minute window to play. That's just stupid. So we're going to eliminate that. That's what that policy is. So that policy's there. Not a bad thing to print off. I think it's a good thing to have. Other thing, to represent, one of the things that this association's done a good job of is how we represent ourselves, both professionally in how we talk, how we interact with coaches and managers. Couple things. You can be polite without being a butt kisser. You can say thank you and yes sir, and no sir, and still be a man or an adult or a woman. You don't have to feel like you're the servant by saying thank you. It's how you carry yourself. Look them in the eye when you talk to them. Shake them your hand. Look them in the eye. All right? You're not their employee, but at the same time, you're there to do a job, and you're there to do a good job. You need to be professional when you do it. Not that you have to show up in a 3-piece suit, but you need to be professional in how you carry yourself. Part of that is how you dress and how you carry yourself on the field. We all know we're going to get muddy, and we're going to get dirty, and we're going to get dusty, and we're going to get sweaty. But try to keep your shirt tail in. All right? If you have trouble keeping your shirt tail in, they sell this rubber thing, because for us fat guys, we need that. All right? It helps keep your pants up, because I got no butt no more. All right? So my pants tend to fall down, and I got a little belly on me. So you need to keep your shirt tail in. If you need to buy a little rubber belt, buy a rubber belt. Nothing looks worse than I walk up to a field and there's a guy's shirt tail hanging out. I don't need to see his butt crack. It's not what I need to see. All right? That makes you look bad, and that makes us as a group look bad. Because in the summertime, in high school, we're wearing the OHSAA hat, the high school hat. Summertime, we're wearing the WCOU hat. You can't believe how much our business increased by simply wearing our hat. It's a marketing thing, and it says something about us. When we get there, they know, A, we know the rules. B, we're professional, and we're going to be patient with people. We don't throw people out. We should be umpiring for the power. If you are, you need to get a freaking life. All right? You don't do this for the power. So my general theory is, if you call me up and say, hey, let's throw a coach out. My first words out of my mouth are generally, did you give him or her a chance to save themselves? Players, they don't get a chance. They cuss at you, done. I have no tolerance for players doing that. But if an adult talks to you, give him a chance to stop. If you give a player a chance to stop, go ahead. But give them a chance to save themselves before you yank their chain. Because if you're out here to throw people out for fun, I really don't want you. All right? That's the different rule, the different world we lived in. Hell, when I was a kid, if you guy threw a line on you, he's going to be out. Next 2 pitches, anywhere it is going to be strike 3. Those days are over. So we have a political side to this game. All of us are going to be on camera all the time because everybody's carrying one. All of us need to raise our right hand. Raise your right hand right now. We're going to make a pledge. Pledge of the West Central Ohio Umpires. I pledge to not be on YouTube this year. That's our goal. Do not do something that's going to bring an embarrassment on you and embarrassment on the association. All right? If you check what you say, I'm really bad about it. I'm quick-witted to my own fault sometimes. I'll cut a guy pretty quick, and I'm like, I should have said that. Can't reel that one back in. So check it. If they're screaming and they're pissing you off, politely, calmly warn them. One of the best ways to let a person save themselves is simply point out their behavior. Take a step back, and you look at them and go, stop yelling. If you keep yelling, you're going to force me to eject you. Who in their right mind at the OHSA would not applaud you if you gave this guy a chance to save themselves and they ran right through the stop sign and then you yanked his chain, put him in the dugout, or whatever you had to do? Yes?
Now, I know everybody has cameras and hold them up,
Yeah.
fans and all that. What about, there's a place that, I think it's Northwestern or whatever, there's a guy over the last couple years, he always hangs a GoPro
Okay.
right on the
Backstop? Perfectly allowed.
Because I know there's rules about,
As long as they're not watching it during the game, I'm assuming it's the same rule. As long as they're not walking over and looking at the monitor. If I look in the dugout and they're looking at a monitor and then they come out to argue, I'm probably walking over to the GoPro, unplugging it, and putting it in my back pocket and walk back to play. All right? I'm not going to let it happen. But if they're just using it to view later, okay. I mean, just understand, guys, the technology's getting to the point that I'm shocked that it hasn't happened yet, that I haven't been given a video from somebody's cell phone looking at your strike zone. It's coming. For me, where I umpire, it happens every day, every pitch. I'm on video. If I pull one this far outside, everybody in my signer is going to know about it. Every pitch. That's coming. That technology, GoPro's cheap. They can do a whole game, put it on an iPad. And you could have had a great game and miss 5 pitches and happen to ring up a guy three different players at the key point in the game on pitches this far outside. Believe me, I won't see the rest of the game. What will I see?
350.
I'll see those 3 pitches you missed and rung up a guy this far outside. All right? Understand, you are under scrutiny like no other official in the history of officiating has been under. And it's going like this. It's trickling down because technology is coming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Joe Smo and the stands can do this. Yes?
I do believe in the state game, they said that within the next year or two, all varsity games will be live streamed.
I can see that.
Get a handle on that.
Yeah, understand. Everything you say and do will be... I'll tell you a story. Last year there was a fight, one of the games that I'm a commissioner for. There was a fight. We got the camera from the team, because they're supposed to have a camera upstairs, but it was kind of offset. So I only saw it from the third base dugout. So I saw the third base team, which is the home team, over there just beating the living piss out of the other team. And I could actually see who was doing it from the home team. So I'm like, okay. Well, lo and behold, about 2 hours later, Ron Black says, check out Facebook with Mrs. Cuervo, or whatever her last name was. I check it out. There's a live stream on YouTube of the fight 180 degrees away. Now this poor lady, she cost her son 3 games, because I saw him take a full-on punch. It was a good one. All right? Knocked this kid clear down. All right? Cost him 3 games. Cost about 3 other players from Licking County 3 games. Simply because I took the video from YouTube, not YouTube, Facebook. And I saw the fight from 2 different angles. Believe me, as a commissioner and in the OHSA, they will use every tool at their disposal. And that includes you're on film. Not to put any pressure on you or anything. Right? But when you start to lose your composure, you need to step back, get your composure back. You can't lose your cool. Because it will be filmed. And it'll all be about, the coach act like a jerk. But look at the umpire. He just totally lost his friggin' mind. Again, stepping back, letting them save themselves. That's plausible deniability in any situation. Of course, you'll go through 50 high school games and not have any issues. And then there's that one day. All right? Remember Northmont Wayne? That was insane. Right? We had to fight our way to the car. I've had Wayne, I've had Northmont 100 times. Never had a problem. That was just a bad day. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Second thing, most of our conferences play back-to-back games now. They'll play Monday, Tuesday in their division. If something happens on Monday, even if it's just a little John, drop Jim or I an email. Because then I can warn the next crew. Hey, these guys I think might have been throwing at each other yesterday, or there's issues. We got John going on. That way you walk into the door knowing what you're walking into, and you don't take to the third inning to figure out this is a bad deal. Information is power. So help your buddies out. Just let us know. Because they do tend to play in conference back to back. All right? Anything else you can think of, Jim?
And after all that, I'm afraid to umpire now.
No.
No, but that had to be said. Okay, that had to be said. Just know that me, Sam, and Darren are advocates not only for you, but for the schools. Okay, we're stuck in the middle. All right, we need ammo because the school's going to give us ammo to gripe about you. You do, like Darren said, your professionalism is our ammo. We don't ask you to be, major league umpire. Just your professionalism at a high school level gives us all the ammo we need, and we will fight that man right there. From the time I've known him, he's been the most loyal guy to his umpires.
Hell, I even let you throw my dad out and didn't get pissed.
Yeah.
You know what?
So,
Some bitch deserved it.
right.
Later, too.
He did.
Right. So, but my point is, don't be afraid to umpire. Don't be afraid to do your job. Just use that professionalism.
Here's the thing, on the end of ejection reports, because we do both spring and summer stuff. Right now, in the WCOUA.net, we have an ejection report. That's going to change. That will go away. We'll have another link in the Arbiter under links. Oh, I don't know. I'll email you and let you know. It'll be a connection to a Google Docs. It's a fillable form, kind of like we had before. The only nice thing is it records everything. If you have an ejection, whether it's a high school game or a non-high school game, and just let us know. Text me. Text Jim. Had an ejection tonight. 10U game, kid ran over the catcher. That's pretty standard. But if I get ejected 4 coaches, 2 from each team because they were fist fighting in the middle of the field, okay, I'm probably going to have to deal with that tomorrow. I kind of want to know ahead of time. I'm probably going to go, whoa, call you and go, what happened? What's going on? Give me the story so that when the coach calls and complains about you, I'm like, well, was it true that you hit the other coach? Because if I have ammo from you, I have the ejection report ahead of time, I can read it and I get your perspective. I need to hear from you first. I don't want to hear from a coach first because I got no answers for him because I have no information. But if you let me know immediately after the game, because they still got to deal with their players, right? So we got that 30-minute window between they got to get with their players before they're going to call me. I will tell you this. I have gotten many telephone calls with coaches that were ejected, and I hear pings in the background. I'm like, game still going on? Yeah, click. I won't talk to them during the game. Jim won't either. And they'll call me back, and I'm going, click. Click, 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 click. I'm just blocking. I ain't going to listen to them. All right? So bottom line is, if you get with us immediately, even if it's between double headers, I need to know. Just take a few minutes, text me, call me, whatever, and that way I kind of know there's an issue before there's an issue. So I'm not walking into a buzzsaw when I pick up the phone. All right? That helps immensely. And so we'll have an ejection report. So if you have an OHSA ejection, you must fill out the ejection report for the OHSA. You can cut and paste that into our document because we see it, because the OHSA, frankly, they're not real kind about sharing stuff. So you could have an ejection, and I never see the ejection report. So I never get to see how you behaved. I never get any feedback on how it went down with you, which I can call you up and go, Pike, you handled it okay, but there's some things you could have done a little better. All right? That's important. Yes?
And if you go out of the area and you eject somebody, like I did up in the MAC, but it was one of the schools that these guys assigned for,
Let us know.
let them know. Because it came back to bite me in the butt.
Yes?
You're talking about if something happens on Monday night and you get a call, then I had the game on Tuesday, you called me, don't throw the guys that did the Monday night game under the bus.
Oh, yeah, that's a general rule of thumb. Here's what'll happen. They'll walk up, plate meeting, shake each other's hand. Man, you should have seen those two bozos last night we had. And they're waiting on your response. Now, you don't want to be, well, yeah, if it was me, I'd tell them to go shove it. But I don't suggest you do that. What I would say is that, you know what, I wasn't there last night, but I'm here tonight. We're not going to talk about it. I don't want to hear it. Or, Darren's already called me and let me know what happened. They'll read between the lines right there. Because I already know what happened. I ain't going to listen to your side. All I need to know is my side. If they continue on to listen, we're not going to talk about it. Okay? DH in the 4-hole, batting for number 2, Brown. Boom. Here's your lineup card. Keep it short and sweet. Plate meetings do not have to necessarily be friendly. If they want to start down that path, make it short, sweet, and businesslike. And get away from them. Because they're just about to throw your partners under the bus. And if you listen to them, you just condone that behavior. You don't have to be impolite, but you can still be polite. But you can shut that conversation right down. Right now. Because they will try to work you. Oh, you guys would be much better. I'm glad you're here tonight. Those guys are terrible. You heard that one before? That's awful. They shouldn't put you there. And when they give you that, just say, listen, I want to hear about this. I'm just here tonight to do the job. All right? And you'll shut them down. Yes?
Kind of off subject.
There is no subject right now.
All right. I was on the front end and back end of the situation that deals with Trotwood.
Okay.
Who, because they had a game on Thursday and they had another game on Saturday for his team, and they don't want to make the trip on Saturday, so we're going to play a doubleheader, knowing that they're going to get run ruled in 5, and we're going to start the second game in 45 minutes.
That is actually against OHSA rules. They cannot play a doubleheader on a school night.
Friday they can't.
Friday they can.
All right, hold on, now. Hold on.
Friday's not school night. Really?
With
On any day where there's school.
the arc we had to build the last 3 years to get games in, okay? The state has, they will call the state and say, we're playing a game that both teams know is just gonna be,
It's a slaughter.
a slaughter, okay? And both coaches and both ADs have agreed, because of the time frame we have before tournament, they will give them special circumstances to play during the week. 2 5-inning games. I think, who did the 2 5-inning games in Greenville last year? Okay? Trotwood and Greenville.
Yep.
Sometimes it's mostly to do with Trotwood because they are, okay, baseball's not their sport. That's school sport, okay? But there is situations like that that can occur.
So what I'm saying, what he's saying is, we know it's probably against the rules. The best way to handle this stuff, because we're going to have pitch counts in baseball too. That's not our concern.
Right.
All right, you may have to do the referee thing between the two coaches. Even if you know they're wrong and it's illegal, let the game play out. That's what the OHSA is for. That's let those guys with 6 figures earn their income for a change. All right? So what's going to happen is, in this case, if you're not sure that if they're supposed to be playing doubleheader, and you know that by policy they shouldn't be, you don't know if they got special dispensation from the Pope. Right? We don't know. So what you do is just go ahead and work the games. Give me a call. I'll follow through with it. So I'll call the AD and go, did you get permission from the OHSA? Nope. Well, we got a problem now. We got a problem. Because they know they're supposed to. So don't not umpire the game. You know what I'm saying? You may want to go. You sure? Because this is really against policy. You got okay from the OHSA? If they say yes and lie to you, okay, work the game, and then just leave me a call. And I'll follow up on it. That's what we do. All right? You shouldn't be put in that situation. Pitch counts? Coaches arguing about pitch counts? From what I read in that last email, that is not our concern in baseball. As umpires, that is not our jurisdiction. That's an OHSA thing. They'll forfeit the game later. Just make a note that when the coach said it, because you're probably going to have to put some kind of incident report together because they're going to ask you questions. All right? Yes?
I just had a quick question. I noticed Springfield normally only displays one umpire
JVs?
for JV. And with that, with the weather issues last year, is on fees, is there going to be a different fee structure for single
Yeah, we
Yes,
have, it's
those
up
are
now.
increased too, they're going up.
They go up incrementally with everything else. So, yep.
And Darren, you were talking about double headers. The double header thing only applies to baseball. For softball, they can play double headers during the week.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
And you do one triple header a year.
They can do one triple header a year, but they can play double headers during the week.
He just blew Darren's mind.
Okay. I learned something
They
today.
started that last year.
All right. Okay, one other thing. If you want to watch Jim's head pop off, don't keep your calendar updated. But if his head pops off, there's no other assigner. You guys are on your own. All right? Now, if you really don't like him, don't keep your calendar updated, and his head will literally pop off, spin around. Sometimes it comes back on its shoulders, sometimes it doesn't. I've watched it. It's not pretty. All right? He has been known to scream at people through the phone. So if you show available, then you probably should be available. All right? There's nothing. How many emails, nasty emails, do you send out about April?
I stopped sending emails, I just stopped giving games.
Okay, there you go. See, he just gets indignant about it. So keep your calendars updated. Stay on top of it. Once we get to summertime, we do have a lot of daytime tournaments on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll probably send an email saying, listen, if you don't want me to send you a game on Friday morning at 9 a.m., probably want to block Friday until when you're off of work. All right? If you want to work, or just block the whole day. I don't care. If you're blocked, you're blocked. I just don't want to waste time calling you and you're not available. Because that is, especially in the last minute, very time consuming. So, anything else, Jim, that you can think of?
Just a real quick.
Yes.
Again, new kid on the block question. Arbiters, the Bible, even in the summertime?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, and it's real time. So if the game is real time, Jim and I make a conscious effort of, if we're going to ask for you to umpire within 48 hours, he may throw you on the game while he's calling people. And if you pick the game up and accept it, he won't call you. But he'll do that, but he'll end up calling you. So we end up calling people within 48 hours. All right, to get you to make sure you can work. We aren't just going to throw a game on at 8 o'clock in the morning and get pissed at you because you didn't go to the game at 5 o'clock and never call you. That ain't right. But if it's out further than 48 hours, we expect you to accept or decline the game quickly, especially during the season, because this is all done real time. We're the most fluid sport
That makes sense.
known to man. It changes by the minute. So we need to, one of the ways we got the Shelby County League was we helped them out on the tournament game. I literally diverted Larry Saunders from going to, I think, Graham, and diverted him straight on up to Jackson Center. Midstream, I'm like, I know a guy's going to Graham, I'm just going to pull him now. Larry, just keep going up. What is that, 571? No, what is that? No, 270, whatever that is. 235. Straight, just keep going up 235. You'll run into it. All right? I'm telling you, that's the year before we got it, and the AD was like tickled pink because she had a tournament game going on, only had one umpire. So we just did a varsity game at Graham with just one umpire. Then we moved the JV baseball guy over, and we did okay. So those are the kind of things that make this organization grow, is we have to have that flexibility to move you. Yes?
I just wanted to say something too. A lot of, I heard from several different ones, oh, I didn't get any games during the summer. Well, all you gotta do is pay that $15 and
Right.
let you guys know that
We
you're
want to work.
available.
Guys, some of it has to do with, for me, most of my tournaments, unfortunately, are in southern Dade. Pastime tournaments come up to Springfield, maybe up to Greenon, but a lot of the Flames tournaments, they're Miamisburg, Cedarville, Wright State, Lebanon. It's just where they're at. I'm not going to ask you to drive from Urbana down to there, but Jim has a bunch of stuff. We try to keep you as busy as we can. We're going to make it worth the $15 or whatever it is to pay for the summertime stuff and make it worth your while. All right, we're not going to leave you hanging. Yes.
Okay, a couple things. If you literally have 0 games right now, and you're someone who's worked for us in the past, and because I'm not going to talk about games and how many games you have, as far as what you deserve or what you don't deserve or what we think, all this other stuff. We'll talk about that after the school ball season, because we get into too many conversations of guys or ladies who think they deserve more but they don't wait long enough to ask that question, and it sort of ticks me off, because we still have 3 or 4 high schools, we don't have their schedules, okay? We have JV teams that schools don't know if they're having them, so they don't give them to us till March. We have JV baseball teams that we don't get till the middle of February, because they don't know if they're having a JV team.
On that line, you gotta understand, they used to send us their schedules, and we would manually input them. There are some schools that do that, but because they have something called Arbiter One or Arbiter Live, they're inputting their schedules on their own. So now I'm actually beholding to some of these guys who frankly, they're about a season behind sometimes, and they're used to waiting until February to even send me their schedule. Well, I've been harping on them since November, because now that some of these assigners in Dayton and Lima and all around are getting their schedules earlier now, they're assigning these games and they're using up umpires. So I've been on their case about getting them. But some of these guys are still going the same old. And I can't get their schedules because they're thinking, I'm going to put them in myself, screw you. And now I don't get the games. I can only assign the games that are in front of me. So we're trying, I'm on these people. I'm calling them, I'm screaming out, I'm crying, I'm kicking, throwing a fit. It just doesn't seem to matter.
I don't want to put down other assigners, because we have a good rapport with all the assigners in the area right now, except for maybe one, okay? That didn't used to be the case. Years ago,
Free for all.
it was very territorial, and it was like someone stealing your wife if you stole their umpire. And that's the way the assigners reacted, and there was bad relationships. With the lack of umpires that we have now, the numbers, we have no choice but to all come together as assigners and work together. Okay, we put our differences aside. We came up with umpireohio.com. All of the classes used to be real competitive. Now